Hello everybody, welcome back to Tìandtarot. Today's reading is all about your next soulmate, and today's pick-a-pile reading is a little bit different. So today we have notebooks to choose from, and inside of these notebooks is all about your soulmate. So inside there will be details about what they get up to, what their hobbies are, what they look like, their potential star sign, when you guys might meet and potentially how. And we have 3 piles today, so we have pile 1, 2 and 3. If you do like to choose with crystals, I will add those now. So for pile 1 we have some pink tourmaline in the shape of a heart. For pile number 2 we have some amethyst. And for pile number 3 we have some raw amethyst. Okay, and for the notebooks, for pile 1 we have I'll Be Waiting by the Gate, for pile 2 we have Cemetery Gates, and for pile 3 we have Midnight Garden. Once you have picked your pile, there will be timestamps in the description box below for you to choose your pile and find it more easily, and I will meet you there. Bye. Okay, welcome pile 1 to your next soulmate reading. So you chose the pink tourmaline. And let's get into who your soulmate is. Okay, so this is all about your soulmate. They could be a Leo or a Pisces. They could have a name beginning with the letters H or U. They love getting creative, spending time with their pets. They like to escape through creativity, seclusion, faith, and smoking. Sorry, I'm laughing because my cat is literally scratching trying to get in. And it's funny because I felt like your soulmate had a pet cat, so maybe they interfere with a lot of their downtime. And we also have they could be from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Tanzania, Panama, Marshall Islands, Jordan, or Canada. They could be, potentially, this is in terms of their looks, perfect despite the odds, which essentially means they put 0 effort in but they look flawless. With thick thighs, they're very flexible, they may have straight hair or a buzz cut depending on who your soulmate is, and they have scratches on their hands from their pets, which are either a cat or a big lizard. They have a diamond-shaped face and a widow's peak. They have a turned down nose and glasses. If they have facial hair, they have a mustache, neck beard, and a full beard that is very neat. They have crooked teeth and cracked lips, and their eyes are hazel. They could meet you in July and potentially through social media. They are very audacious. They have all the audacity. They're very brave. They recover well from setbacks. They're very generous, warm-hearted. They're expansive, faithful, loving, pompous, patronizing, bossy, creative, and powerful and moody. This person is a gentle giant. They're in touch with their feelings. The world scares them, so they prefer being indoors with their pets getting high. They're very creative and they are a writer, either as a hobby or a job. They also enjoy calligraphy. This person is very spiritual and brave. They always stand up for people and stand on the right side of justice. Nothing could be used to bribe them out of following their own morals and rules. They can be a negative Nelly, but they crave a loving partner and home. They want you to love their pets as much as they do, and they occasionally like to cook. So that was all about your soulmate there. And now let's get into the tarot cards. So, over here I'm going to have a card for you and a card for them. And this is all about how you guys treat each other. How does pile 1 treat their partner? Okay. How does pile 1's partner treat them? Okay. I feel like you kind of treat this person as if you're very worried about the future and how things will pan out. I don't think you are very confident that things are going to be successful, because potentially because of your past experiences, or your karma in romantic relationships. So you don't really treat this person like you fully trust their intentions and trust that they are faithful and that this is going to be a longevity kind of relationship. I think you can be quite cold, quite distant, and potentially have a bit of an avoidant attachment style. And I feel like for them, they have like such a fear of the world, especially because they don't hold people in the best sort of esteem. They kind of doubt people's true intentions. Um, they in you feeling that way, they almost pick up on that and kind of pick up on your energy and put that energy back out there. So I think they also regard you in a sort of worried sense. They're very anxious in their attachment style, and I feel like they could pull away from you being cold, but they know that this is an opportunity they don't want to miss out on. And so I feel like initially they might be very cold, but eventually they will build back up to trying to sort of squash your kind of issues that you guys are having, so that you guys can feel more secure and comfortable around each other. I feel like they're very much more of the action taker in this situation and a lot more loving and patient. Because they are so good with keeping up healthy habits, seeing their friends, and staying on top of, their well-being, especially mentally. They almost know how to soothe these concerns within you, and you quickly recognize that this is someone that you can feel comfortable with. What are your opinions of each other when you first meet? So we have the empty cottage in reverse for you. And what is pile one's soulmates? We have the Page of Winter here in reverse. So for you, I feel like your interpretation is that this person is a little bit of a hermit, but by choice. You recognize that they've kind of chosen to be a lone wolf, if that makes sense. And you can see that. You can see it's not that, they... You can see that they pull away from a lot of situations because they genuinely prefer to be at home with their pets or cooking something and, hanging out with their partner. They're much more independent than most people, which is why they're comfortable not going out to, social events all the time, and they can pull away from that. And I think you see that quite clearly, but I think you also see them as a mysterious person. They don't really wear their personality on their sleeve. They don't tell you everything. They hold their cards close to their chest, and so it almost lures you in to figure out more about them. They're something you want to crack, like they're like a puzzle to you. You're very curious about this person. And I think, if you get wrapped up in this person, you guys would just constantly be at home together, never going out, not doing anything other than spending time with each other, because you just love each other's company so much, and there's so much to learn from one another. So I feel like this, and you're kind of being sucked into their kind of their lifestyle, their way of living. Again, I think when they first meet you, what their interpretation is also, like you, a sense of curiosity. They're curious about you. You pique their interest. They see you and they fancy you. So they are curious about getting to know you. They're curious as to whether or not this could work and there could actually be something. I think they are taking an open mind to you. They're usually quite closed off from people, very much in a scorpionic kind of way, where Scorpios primarily only like their partners and rarely like other people. They see you and they fancy you, so they are open to getting to know you. They have an open viewpoint because they are curious about you, and they wonder if you guys could work together as partners. And so I think you're the first person that has kind of piqued their interest in a while. They were just kind of going through the motions of life and then realised that they've spotted you and they like you, And then I also think they might feel a little bit intimidated by your intelligence. And so, but by the way, that's nothing to do with you, so don't change it. That's a great thing. And so this inspires them to work on themselves and get way more like into their sort of building their intellect, and they start reading things on topics that they think you're going to be interested in, and they try and kind of up level just so that you guys can have something to talk about. It's not a manipulative thing where they're trying to pretend to be somebody they're not. They're instead actually working on themselves so that you guys can actually enjoy each other's company and have nice conversations. It's not like they overheard that you like cheese on toast, and even though they hate cheese on toast, they're going to tell you that's their favourite meal because they want to manipulate you into being with them. No, they are trying to up level themselves and develop themselves as a person so that you guys can kind of have really interesting conversations, and that way that person can get to know you more than if they didn't do that, because they wouldn't be able to explore who you are without knowing what your interests were, you know? So I think that's their kind of first interpretation, is they're curious about you. I think you do come across cold and shy and you don't reveal much. And so to them, they kind of want to move that bouquet out of that person's face and see you and talk to you. So I do feel like they approach you first. It could be through social media, because I do feel this mysterious, curious energy. But it could also be in person. I'm also getting work vibes. So for some of you, you could meet at work, and for others, it could be on social media. And yeah, I think you're both equally just as curious about the other one, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's get into, what do you guys like most about each other? What does pile 1 like most about their soulmate when they meet them? Oh, okay. Wisdom. Yeah, see, they up-leveled and they learned what you like, and then you actually see them as really smart. I think that kind of insecurity of theirs is genuinely just a misplaced insecurity. It's not that they're not smart. It's just that they feel intimidated by how smart you are, but they didn't even need to do anything because you see them as very intelligent anyways. But you really like this about them, and so it proves that them kind of figuring out going off and learning more about what it is you're interested in was worth it, because then that gave you guys more to talk about and it helped you see them for who they are. And they love your loyalty. I did feel like this person has been spurned before, especially because they have this kind of, I wouldn't say hatred, but I would definitely say fear of the world. Like, they think the world is a scary place. It's a place where if you put your heart on the line, it's going to get hurt. It's, you know, to them it's a place that isn't good and isn't very positive, and the things that are good to them and that they do enjoy are usually like innocent things, like animals. You know, they like spending time with their cat or their lizard or whatever pet they have, because they feel like they're the only truly loving, kind things in the world. So when they meet you and they actually see how loyal you are and how important loyalty is to you, this makes them really attracted to you and feel really comfortable around you, because they finally feel like they're with the right person. That's so sweet. Okay, so what is your favourite activity to do together? What is pile 1's? Home. Yeah, I literally feel such a homebody vibe, even if you are a very sociable person. Because you are hanging out with this person who is a very like homebody person, and you're getting to know them and spending more time with them, you're ending up becoming more introverted, and not necessarily introverted, you're still an extroverted personality, but in terms of how you spend your free time, you're definitely spending it at home with them, getting up to what couples do, you know? So you guys are like watching, you know, crime documentaries and like talking about it and hanging out and smoking weed. Like, you guys are just having fun at home, not really hanging out with other people, to be honest. I do just feel like you guys become like sweet little homebodies, and it's just such a nice, welcoming, warm environment to come home to after a long week of work. You just get home and they're there, and it brightens up your day, and it's like a small kind of like humble feeling that means absolutely everything to you. It's like they're your lighthouse of the universe, like they're the light in the darkness, you know? And I think you both feel that way, and you both like to stay at home, snacking on things, having good meals. I definitely feel like they're a bit of a chef, and they like to cook for people they care about. So if, you know, if they want to impress you, they'll probably make you something, but they'll also they'll genuinely really be like, they'll want you to tell them it's good. So even if it's not good, just tell them it's good. Tell them it's the best thing you've had, okay? Because that's what they want you to say. I just see you guys like cozying up in like a warm house in winter, eating good food, hanging out, genuinely enjoying each other's company and enjoying who you guys are as people, which is rare in relationships sometimes. So yeah. And then I also wanted to know what you guys' relationship karma is. So what is pile 1's relationship karma? Okay, you have the 10 of spring, which is the 10 of wands, basically. And they have the ghost. Oof. Yeah, I think their relationship karma was kind of being taught that they don't have to be in toxic relationships for the sake of being in one, especially at the detriment to their own mental health. I think the reason they're so concerned with making sure their well-being is okay and being really pro mental health, pro therapy, I think that stems from a place of not being there at one point in time, of being in a really dark place mentally, of not feeling like they had anyone to talk to, which is why they know it's such an important thing now and they really advocate for that. Because I think a lot of their past relationships before you could have been really toxic and not good for them and had maybe led them down like a sad, dark and lonely path. So I feel like that was their kind of previous relationship karma before like meeting you, of course. And then I think for you, something that was your kind of relationship karma in the past, which, you know, is being alleviated in this relationship because it's no longer your karma. This is, you know, your soulmate, so it's not something you need to deal with anymore. But I think you were always shouldered with being the responsible one. You were always the person who was making sure the finances were in order, you were the one working hard, and you were the one putting food on the table, taking care of the domestic duties, taking care of all the responsibilities, and this puts such a strain on you and your relationships. But now I feel like when you stand up to that and you recognize that that's not right and that's not for you and you deserve a very equal 50-50 relationship, that's when this person comes in. Because this is a very equal relationship. I feel like you guys divide things evenly, and it's not even that you are like the one setting out a list and a plan and saying, okay, you could do the dishes and I could do this. You guys work on it together, so even the responsibility of coming up with what needs to be done isn't just on you. It's very much divided between the two of you. So I feel like your relationship karma is stepping out of the one who has to do everything, the carer, the person that's responsible for everything, and you're going to be cared for. You're going to be nurtured and protected, and so you don't have to worry about those things. And they kind of resolve that for you, just as you resolve their previous situations for them as well. So that's really lovely. That's what I see for you for this relationship. So let's get into the Astro Dice for any last messages. Okay, so you have the 4th house, which also could be like the 4th month, so maybe you guys meet in April as an alternative date as well. And then you also have the South Node. So again, I do feel like some sort of transformation is occurring. You guys are kind of overcoming these two situations in order to meet each other. And there's definitely an air of mystery around the both of you, which is why you're so curious about each other. And then you also have Cancer, which I feel like is that nurturing energy I was talking about, where you no longer have to be that responsible person and they're going to be very nurturing and caring, just as you are to them, but in two different ways. Like they almost help with the more the physical things, the planning, the maintenance, the organizing things, taking care of finances, thinking about those things. And you are very much more like taking care of the emotional side of things and making sure they know they're in a loyal, loving relationship. But it's going to be 50-50, so you're both going to do this for each other. So that is what I see for you, pile 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you felt drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Fridays for another reading on Tìandtarot. Bye. Okay, hello pal 2, welcome to your reading all about your next soulmate. So you chose the amethyst, and let's get into it. Okay, so this is all about your soulmate. So you chose Cemetery Gates. Okay, so your soulmate could be a Libra, Sagittarius, Aries, or Cancer. They could have a name beginning with the letters D or O or U. And they love the beach. They love to travel, hanging out with friends, doing yoga, taking care of their houseplants, and they love being out in nature as well. They could be from the United Kingdom, or they could be from New Zealand, or Dominica, Spain, Papua New Guinea, Senegal, Taiwan. And they could be perfect despite the odds, which essentially means they look and are perfect without actually having to put any work or effort into that. They're quite brawny. They may be ginger. They're much more of a follower as opposed to a leader. They're a homebody with a dump truck and sloping shoulders, and they like to moisturize. If they do have pets, they have quite unusual pets like a snail or a bird. They have a sculpted and elongated face with unruly, thin eyebrows. They have beauty marks and a strong hawk-pierced nose. They have lime green eyes, which are large and expressive. They may get lash extensions too. They could have either pointed or square teeth and maybe missing a tooth. Their lips are moist and their brows are very thin. You could meet in August, and for some reason I was also feeling the need to write down Venice, so I've put a question mark there, because that could be for some of you but not for all of you, but August in Venice was a vibe I was getting. Their traits are that they are diplomatic, charming, easygoing, sociable, indecisive, changeable, gullible, harmonious, and sympathetic. They're all about well-being, both physically and mentally. They recognise when they need to take time to socialise, stay active, and when they need a calm night in. They attend therapy a lot and use travelling as therapy too. They may have a difficult relationship with their family, particularly their mother, and they focus on the future and moving forward. So that was all about your soulmate there. And now let's get into the tarot cards. Okay, so over here I'm going to have a card for you and a card for them, and this is how you treat them, view them, things like that, and this is how they treat you and view you. So the first question is, how does pile 2 treat their partner? Okay, we have the Page of Autumn. And how does pile 2's partner treat them? Okay, we actually had 2 cards for how they treat you. So we have Dawn and the Witch. So with Dawn and the Witch, I feel like they very much see you as this like wild spirit that they need to unleash and teach you their ways. So when they go out for like crazy night outs, or you know, they go on adventures or they go traveling, like they want you to do those things too, and they want to show you the way, because potentially they feel like you need that kind of release. They treat you as this like wild free spirit that's capable of anything, and they see you as such a creative person, and they want to help you explore that. They want to help you seize the day and kind of get into a really harmonious, balanced lifestyle, and kind of start doing things bit by bit, day by day, that are good for you, and try and get you into sort of like a healthy schedule. They really want you to seize every opportunity that's available to you. They just see you as someone with so much potential, so much good vibes, good energy. You can manifest what you want, and they see that, and they want to help you achieve those things. They want you to tend to their houseplants with them, you know, and care about the things they care about, and they kind of want to show you their ways because they're excited about those things, so they want to share that with you. I think you're quite shy with how you treat them. I think you're a little bit reserved. Maybe you don't like putting your love out there. Like, you're embarrassed to give compliments, but you shouldn't be, because they will appreciate it. I think you feel really intimidated by them. I think as well the way you treat them is you don't really appreciate necessarily that they want to show you all these things, and I think it comes from a place of misunderstanding their intention. You think they want to change you and that they are sort of judging the way you live your life, and that's why they're trying to like fix these things, quote unquote. but what they're actually doing is they're excited about their own passions and want to share that with you. It's not that they want to change you, they just want to show you what they do, and they're really excited about that, and that can seem kind of domineering and like over the top. And I think you get defensive about that because of your own insecurities about the way you live your life and your day-to-day and your schedule. I think you feel defensive when they kind of say, hey, how about we, get up early and like do this and go climb that mountain. You're kind of like, are you telling me I need to exercise more? And they're like, no, I want to show you this mountain with this sunrise, like you've got it all wrong. And it's kind of like getting your wires crossed. And so I think you get quite defensive with them, but they are coming from such a good, like, positive place. So it would be good to kind of work on those feelings and work on what it is you feel insecure about before meeting this person, just so that, things can go smoothly. And I also wanted to know what your opinion is of your soulmate when you first meet. So you have the 4 of Spring in reverse. And how does your soulmate view you when you first meet? Pile 2. We have the King of Winter in reverse. I think they see you as a very wise, mature person who maybe is a bit of a stickler for the rules, a little bit too serious, and they want to kind of help you to loosen up. They might also see you as a little bit cold, and a little bit money driven as well, like, which is not a bad thing. That's just how they view you. They view you as someone who's quite ambitious, quite serious, quite responsible, and they haven't seen that creative side yet when you guys first kind of meet. You see them as a really completed, well-rounded person who's fulfilled and is just celebrating life and has this great positivity towards life. You see them as somebody who's quite successful in the fact that they are satisfied with what they have, and the fact that they, love to explore and get to do all of those things. And I think you see them as someone who is very passionate, loves like dancing, singing, music, all those kind of things, and you see them as a very like outgoing person, although internally they're much more of an introvert, but they very much appear outgoing. They can kind of flip between the two. But yeah, I think that's your first kind of impression of them, is that they have this fun positivity for life, and they see you as a very responsible, hardworking, ambitious, driven person. What does pile 2 love about their partner the most? Okay, you have loyalty, so you like how loyal they are. And what does pile 2's partner love most about pile 2? You have intelligence. Okay, this is very similar to pile 1. So I think what they love about you is that you are this smart, responsible, intelligent person. You're kind of, while they are also smart and intelligent, they're smart and intelligent in different ways, in sort of like creative, passionate ways, and you're more intelligent in the literal sense, so you're in the academic sense. So together you guys kind of make this perfect match, these perfect, partners in crime. And I feel like they also see you as quite a mysterious kind of spiritual person. Even if you don't see it, they kind of see your potential. They see your like witchy energy underneath. And they can recognize that within you. And I think that's what they love about you. They love that you are this ambitious, driven person who's very responsible and very smart. Like, crows are drawn to, like, not just crows, but all kind of birds are drawn to, like, shiny things. So I feel like this sort of conveys your ambition, because you're, like, driven to the things that are valuable and important, and they admire that about you. And being sort of within your eyes, being the thing that you find beautiful, makes them feel valuable as well. And then I think what you love about this person is how loyal they are. They're very like happy-go-lucky energy with the dog here, and then they are like unconditionally loyal to you because they do just idolize you so much. So I think that's what you really appreciate about them. And then what activity does pile 2 to love doing? You have metamorphosis. So you guys love to help each other grow, to help each other transform, to teach the other one things. You guys like to expand who you are and help your partner to expand. So you guys might do a lot of things that help you grow together. You might do a lot of like traveling, sightseeing, you go to museums, you learn about new topics and new things and talk about it and discuss, and this kind of helps you grow as people. Also bringing up each other's flaws and positive things from a place of love and compassion, not a place of judgment, is a way that you guys kind of help each other grow in a very like realistic relationship kind of way. Like you guys are very just honestly openly human, and so you guys will admit if something the other one does is crossing a boundary or is maybe not a positive thing, and kind of help each other to grow out of that. So you guys do help each other change a lot, but for the better in a positive way. And I think that's something you guys love to do in this relationship. And then I also wanted to ask what your relationship karma was, pile 2, before meeting this person. What was pile 2's relationship karma? So you have the 3 of autumn. And what was pile 2's soulmate's relationship karma before meeting pile 2? Okay, we have the 10 of summer. I feel like your previous relationship karma before meeting this person was just a lot of difficulty, a lot of loss in terms of, and grief and kind of difficult times. I think, relationships ending constantly was something that was really hard for you. And that was what you were kind of going through before you met this person, is constantly losing people, which did make you harden, and it did make you more driven to these kind of material things and these kind of ambitions that aren't to do with love, because you just felt like love was a fruitless endeavor and there was no point. So you kind of focused your attention onto things that you thought were achievable, because you just didn't feel like love was achievable. But when you meet them, they teach you can have all those things. You can have a loyal, loving partner who has your best interests at heart and wants what's best for you. I think what their relationship karma was before meeting you is that they struggled to find like somebody they could see as their family. I think because they do just have this almost, I feel like they have a lot of wealth. It could be from their own sort of efforts, but it does also feel kind of like generational or like something to do with inheritance. And because they do have difficulties with their family, they have a difficult past with them, I feel like they almost lost their family in that sense. And they do go to therapy and they do travel the world to try and, fill their life with good things and positive things to distract them. But at the end of the day, that was a void. And that void needed to be filled, and they were looking for somebody who could provide that for them, whether intentionally or not. That's what they were hoping for, and they kind of see it in you. And so I feel like their relationship karma was that they just couldn't seem to find the one, or they couldn't seem to find genuine, loyal love. And then when they meet you, they finally can rectify that. So I feel like together you guys help each other through this sense of like loss and grief that you've both experienced in very different ways. Yours could have been much more literal, but theirs was loss and grief in terms of having to walk away from their family and not have them in their life. And since we do have like a hint of generational or wealth or inheritance here, potentially I feel like it could be that a parent passed away and the other parent was difficult to get along with. So they had to pull away, and that was hard for them because they already lost one parent, and then they had to make the decision to walk away from another one. So I think it's just a tough situation for them, and that was kind of their relationship karma, is that they went through these things so that they could see what a good person really is and a good relationship looks like. And let's get into the Astro Dice. Do you have any last messages for you? Yeah, okay, so we've got the North Node here, so I definitely feel like you guys do help each other to transform in a very positive way. And because we do have Capricorn here, I do just feel like you guys are getting very active and sightseeing and exploring and traveling. And that's how you're kind of helping each other. Like, I feel like they're helping you get out of your shell, especially in terms of an extroverted kind of way. And then we do also have the 10th house here. So this could mean the 10th month that you guys meet. So it could have something to do with that. But it could also literally be the 10th house. And then with the 10th house, of course, it's also associated with Capricorn. And this can be about your social status. It can also be about your ambitions. So I feel like you maybe help to teach this person to be a little bit more ambitious as opposed to carefree. Yes, while they may have their wealth and their inheritance and things like that, they could have goals that they would still like to move towards that help them to feel fulfilled as an individual person beyond those things. And I do feel like that's how you help them, is you help them kind of become more ambitious, and they help you to get out there and explore more and find things to do, and keep active with them, basically. So yeah, that is what I'm seeing for you, pile 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you felt drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Friday for another reading on Tìandtarot. Bye. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading all about your next soulmate. So you chose the amethyst, the raw piece. And you also chose Midnight Gardens. So let's get into your soulmate. So your soulmate could be an Aquarius, Scorpio, or Gemini. They could have a name beginning with the letters M or I. And they love day trips, spending time with their siblings, learning new things, meeting new people, and spending time with friends. They could also be from Spain, Paraguay, or Algeria. And they could be brawny with a perfect body to you. So whatever your kind of perfect body is in your mind, that's the one they have. They have extroverted, introverted energy. They have straight hair and they smell really, really good. So it could be that their hair and body smell good, or one or the other. But they smell like so many things, like the ocean, soap, vanilla, shea butter. So you can tell they really take care of themselves through like hair treatments and like body creams and, showering regularly and things like that. They're very much a new person to you. This is not someone you know. Their pets are their houseplants, but they rarely remember to water them. They have plucked eyebrows, so they take a lot of care in their sort of appearance. And they have amber brown eyes. They have a dainty nose and their own teeth, which are rounded. So they don't have veneers or capsule or anything. It's their own teeth that are rounded shaped. You might meet them in March or September. In terms of their traits, they're a very friendly, honest, loyal, inventive, intellectual, contrary, and unemotional, independent, and moral person. Your soulmate is very independent, but they also feel very restless when they have no plans. They love those sort of short trips to museums, restaurants, house parties, and clubs. They're very sensual, and while they are friendly, they can be eruptive and cut off toxic people from their lives. They may regret this and return like nothing ever happened, and they constantly change things about their lifestyle, their home decor, and their daily habits. Their passions and hobbies are also very changeable. They love meeting new weirdos on the trains, trams, and buses. They have a lot of brothers and sisters, and they're close with them. And they may also share custody of a child if they have one. If not, their house is littered with toys for their nieces and nephews. Their plants are their pride and joy when they remember to water them. Okay, so that was your soulmate there. So now let's get into the tarot cards. So I'm going to have a place a card here and a card here. And the cards over here are about you and your kind of viewpoint and things like that. And this card is about them and how they view you and things. So for the first question, how does pile 3 treat their soulmate? I felt good vibes. Okay. So you have Grace and the Mirror for how you treat them. how does pile 3's soulmate treat them? Okay, so you have the 7 of Spring, but you also had Forget Me Not. That's interesting. No one, I think everyone usually only gets one card, but you guys got a few. So I think they want to make a good impression with you. They want to stand out from the crowd. Potentially you have a lot of people kind of in your DMs or trying to ask you out at the same time, and so they're trying to stand out from those people because they want you to notice them more than anybody else. So they try and do these really thoughtful, loving things. Like, their gifts are very personal, so it could be like poems or songs that they've personally written for you. It could be like they've painted you something or picked you the flowers that they bring to you. So they try and do things that are much more meaningful than just going out and buying something for you. They try and make sure it's like from the heart and something you would appreciate and cherish forever. And they love to sort of treat you to things, and they love traveling. So I feel like they might treat you to a lot of holidays, because they like to go explore the world with you. That's what the energy of the 7 of Spring is. So they very much love traveling. They like doing things with you. And this could be day trips, but it could also be much more bigger adventures. So I feel like they love doing the sort of date plans, and kind of surprising you and sort of, whisking you off your feet. I feel like you're a very compassionate person, so you treat them with a lot of compassion. You're very selfless in the acts that you do and the things that you do for this person, and you're very morally correct. So you're never going to do anything, or hopefully never, that would kind of be morally ambiguous. You're always going to do the right thing and treat them with a lot of kindness, and be very selfless in your approach to them. I do feel like you can be a little bit more of a homebody, and they kind of want to get you out of that and get you exploring things and seeing things, because they know you'll have fun, even if initially you're like, oh god, I don't want to do that today. Like, they know deep down you will love to travel to where they're going to that day, and you're going to have so much fun. So they really try and motivate you to do those things, but you very much appreciate them and appreciate the day-to-day humble small things, those small little gifts. Like, if they do pick you their own flowers, in this picture here she's like smelling them, so you're gonna really like indulge in and appreciate the things that they do for you. But I do, at the end of the day, also feel like you are very secure within yourself. So while you do, enjoy this relationship and care about this person, you also do a lot of soul searching. You don't forget about yourself and who you are. And I feel like you also do a lot of self-reflection. So I feel like you help them to do that as well. In being so self-reflective, you're kind of being the best partner you could be, because you're always aware of if, an argument is something caused by them or caused by you. You're always like figuring that out, and that kind of holds up a mirror to their own behavior and makes them realize they need to do some soul searching and self-reflection as well, in order to be the best partner for you. But I do also feel like you have a little bit of a detached attachment style. You're very like not too bothered, not too fussed, whereas they're very they have more of a very like attached, like almost clingy attachment style. Like, they want to spend a lot of time with you, not clingy in a bad way though, but they want to spend a lot of time with you. They feel slightly more codependent and you feel a little bit more independent, and that's kind of how you guys treat each other. You treat them with a lot of compassion and kindness, and also a lot of morality, and you do a lot of self-reflection, and they try to impress you a lot, and they also like to treat you to things, and they also are inspired by you and to think about their own actions as well, and they're quite clingy. Okay, so let's get into pile 3's first impression of their soulmate. That was too many cards. Pile 3's first impression of their soulmate. Okay, you have the Crow. And what is pile 3's soulmate first impression of them? Okay, we've got this one, but we've also got this one. So we have the 9 of Spring in reverse and the 7 of Winter. So I think this is the 7 of Coins and this is the 9 of Wands. And then we have the Crow over here. So I think your first impression of this person is that they're quite mysterious and they love adventure. You can see that straight away, that they love to travel. And you see them as someone who can help to guide you in the right direction in terms of how to get out there and travel as well. You see them as someone who is quite thoughtful and meaningful and looks at the world in a way that is very appreciative and creative, and they see the beauty in the world and you can recognize that within them. So that's your first sort of impression of them. You also see them as someone who idolizes things in a unique way. So they kind of idolize things that other people maybe wouldn't. They appreciate small things that other people might miss. You know, they appreciate the small meaningful touches to things. Like this little letter here, it reminds me of like if you wrote them like a handmade letter, they would really like appreciate that and that would stand out to them. And it's something they like to do as well. Their first impression of you is that straight away they know you're someone that is going to be in their future. They know it. Like, they don't doubt it for a second. Straight away they know you're the one for them. But they also see you as a very patient person. They see that compassionate side to you almost immediately. So it must be something that's very obvious about you, I think. Maybe a lot of people see that. I think you're very open about that and they just see it straight away. But they also see you as a very disciplined person who needs breaks and needs to have, you know, holidays and fun times, and they kind of want to help you with that, to recognize that you deserve those things. I feel like with the 9 of Spring, they recognize that. So they really enjoy sort of like the simple small pleasures, these small little cutesy gifts, and they feel like you would because they see this compassionate side to you, but they're also concerned initially and quite insecure of like, what if you don't like these letters? What if you don't appreciate this? What if you think that me picking these flowers is like shit and I should have like bought you some? They're kind of worried about what you're gonna think, and if you're gonna think that this isn't like a loving act that's coming from their heart and coming from their creative side, they're worried you're gonna think they're like cheap or something, which, you know, definitely like you shouldn't do that anyways, but that's what they're worried about. And so I think that while they recognize, they sort of get the impression you would like these small little gifts just like them, and you might share that in common. They are also very nervous the first time they give you one of these small sort of handwritten poems or letters or things, because they are worried about your reaction, if that makes sense, because they don't know you too well, because this is a first impression. This is like the first time you guys meet. I think they think you're sweet when you first meet. Okay. I also wanted to get into what you love most about your soulmate. Upheaval. Yeah, you love that they travel. And then they love that you're a very protective person. When you are a compassionate, nurturing person, there's an element of you being very protective underneath that, because you care, you know? You care about the people that you love and that are in your life. And so I think they recognize that within you. They recognize this like fiery energy, but as I said, because they see you as like cute and sweet, they don't really see you as like very intimidating. So even if you were to get protective over somebody, they would find it sweet and endearing. But I think they would intervene before you ever tried to do anything. Because or got carried away with yourself in trying to protect the people you care about. I don't think because I think they share this sentiment with you, but they're very protective in a chill way, and you're very like forwardly protective, very like instantly straight in, you know, trying to protect them straight away. And I think they recognize when a situation requires it and when it doesn't. And then I think for you, the thing that you like most about this person is 2 things. One, it's that they travel and they do that and they have fun and love doing that. And they can just say, right, that's it, come on, let's go do this thing. And out of thin air, they can make what was seeming to be a mundane, regular, everyday kind of day. they can take that and turn it into the most fun adventure you've ever had. So it could be like a really boring Wednesday night. You're thinking you're going to stay in, do some washing, go to work the next day, and they're like, no, we're not doing that, we're going here. And you're like, really, that place? Like, we're not gonna have fun? And then you go there and it's the best time you've ever had, because they love meeting these new people on like public transport. So you end up having these crazy times and meeting new people and having new friends because of the kind of extroverted person that they are. So you love that about them. But you also like that they can move on very easily from destructive situations or pain, or, you know, feeling disheartened about something. So if someone has been rude to them at work, or if it's a friend that has said something, they'll of course be upset about it, but they're able to move on from that person with kind of a determination to just be the best version of themselves and not get hung up on it. And that's also something you appreciate about them. What is pile 3's favourite activity to do together? Okay, you have 2 things. So what you guys like to do together is you guys have anticipation here, and you also have safety. So I feel like you guys like to go on these adventures together because you anticipate what's gonna happen. At first, I think you're kind of like going with the flow. You're like, okay, let's see what happens here. But eventually, as the relationship progresses, whenever they're like, hey, we should do this thing tonight, you're like, yes, I'm going, because you just know it's gonna be a fun time. And you also love that you guys feel really safe with each other, and really comfortable, and feel like this relationship is being nurtured and growing into like the best one that you guys have ever had. So you really like that, and that's something you guys enjoy doing. But I also feel like you guys enjoy spending alone time together, essentially. That's all I can say. So those are your favourite activities to do together. And then I also wanted to know what your relationship karma was like before you met this person. What your relationship karma is before meeting this person. And theirs is here. Okay. So you have the 5 of Autumn. I feel like before this person, you had a lot of toxic relationships. You might have been the toxic one, but you could have also been in a relationship with a toxic person. And you've kind of felt addicted to those kind of relationships. You felt like it was something you deserved, or that was what you had to be in, and you kept going back to it. And you were very avoidant of your self-worth. You weren't really doing the self-reflection that you do now. Like when I said what they see about you is that you're very like self-reflective and you do a lot of that inner work. That's something you had to learn after being in these kind of karmic relationships that taught you need to stand up for yourself more and that you deserve better, because you were ignoring what was in the mirror. You were ignoring your worth. You were ignoring who you were and prioritizing these toxic relationships and the experiences that go with that. So when you meet this person, that is kind of fixed straight away. There's no toxicity, and you actually end up prioritizing yourself, which is why you tend to have that kind of detached attachment style, because you recognize that you are a person within yourself and that you don't have to throw everything into a relationship and put all your eggs in one basket. You need to save a few for yourself. I feel like their relationship karma was a little bit different. I feel like they have continually met people who are really sensitive and nurturing, very wholesome, kind, and give them a lot of insights, because I feel like that's an area they personally were lacking in before they met you. But because they've had these relationships that taught them how to be that loving, sensitive partner who is nurturing, who is kind, and stops doing that toxic thing of cutting people out and then coming back with their tail between their legs and being like, actually, remember that? That was so funny, wasn't it? And it's not funny to that other person. So they're over that. They've stopped doing that because they did that before with their past sort of karmic relationships. And it taught them that that was not the right way to behave. It taught them to be more self-aware, and to think about other people, and it brought them a lot of insight into who they are and who they should be, which is also what you do. But you do it almost not because you need to. It's not because they have these areas or room for growth. It's that that's just who you are, and that stands out to them and is a reminder to them to not make the same mistakes they've made in the past. As I said, here's that mirror of self-reflection you do for yourself, and you also hold it up to them as well. Okay, and let's get into your astro dive for any last messages. Ooh, you have Aries and you also have the 4th house, which always reminds me of April, so I feel like this definitely could be an Aries. And we did have Aries here as well. So I feel like this person could be an Aries. It could also just be that they are the person that approaches you first. So they could be the initiator of this relationship. And they could be quite a determined person, and kind of a fiery person as well. You also have the 4th house, and this is the house of, home and family. It's ruled by Cancer and the moon. So with the 4th house being, home and family, this is telling me you guys are going to start family together, and this is someone you're going to move in with. This is someone you're going to build a loving, warm home with. This is your forever person, basically. That's what I'm getting with the 4th house. I'm getting such a nurturing energy on both ends because it is, Cancer and the moon. Just this gentle, nurturing, kind energy. You guys have been through the rough relationships, and this is your deserved, well-earned, positive, loving relationship. And then you also have, if I just move that here, you also have Mars. So again, this is just all Aries energy, because Aries, is, associated with Mars. And so there's this very strong, fire element. There's a lot of passion between the two of you. I feel like your spark doesn't dwindle. No matter how long you guys have been together, you guys could be like an old couple and still see each other as the same as you did the first time you met. You're always going to have that fiery connection, that passion. There's a lot of desire between the two of you. I think physically you're both very much each other's types in terms of everything. So personality, body, mentality, your morals, things like that. So that's really exciting. I do see so much passion for you guys, because that is what Aries is all about. And it's all about the self as well. So you guys also do a lot of self-reflection, which is just so amazing. And you help each other to do that. So it's almost like a selfless self-reflection. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed your reading, pile 3. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you felt drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tìandtarot for another reading on Friday. Bye.